No offside.
Welcome back to another episode of No Offsides. I'm Dan Dean. After interviewing Arturo last week, I decided let's keep this interview in Texas. Today's guest runs the beta Mighty Emus. He was once a gear up for Bilt Rite and Mission. You can check out his Instagram as he is always talking about different gear. He's out of Fort Worth, Texas. I want to welcome Tim Ellis. How's it going, man?
Hey man, good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you reached out. I was like, oh damn, like you have lived an interesting life, man.
Thank you. Within the hockey world, I certainly have seen a good bit for sure in my next month approaching 41 years.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, so you how long have you been in Texas for?
So I was born here. I grew up here. My dad was from New Jersey,
Okay.
in California. He moved here in high school. So that's what I get in being in Texas. I get asked this all the time, like, how have you been playing hockey since like 1990, like before the Stars were even here? Because my dad played growing up, and so yeah, that's kind of what got me into it, and it's frankly the only sport I've ever played.
It's the only sport you need to play.
I agree. I totally agree. Yep.
Now, you've been in Texas your entire life. I mean, so you've kind of been there from like when hockey first got popular to
Yeah.
today, right? So I
Hmm.
mean, what's some like? Can you describe to me and the viewers like what hockey, if anything, it was like in Texas when you first moved there
Absolutely.
to kind of what it's become today?
Yeah. So when I started, I was born in Richardson, and I lived there until I went into third grade, and there was no roller, like organized roller or anything at all. And I played like street hockey. And then I moved to Arlington in third grade. My dad, he actually managed a ski shop. And when he moved to Arlington, they opened another, and he pitched to his boss, let's have this be half a ski store and half hockey and skating store. So it's called the Warming Hut ski and skate. So that moved us to Arlington, and there was a local wood floor rink there. So this is in like 91, like before the Stars got here in 93.
Okay.
So I started playing roller on a wood floor in third grade and just kind of went from there. But yeah, it used to be, I mean, really nothing like from kind of a 30,000 foot view, even, fast forward 10 years when I was in high school, that's before even really the Star Centers opened. So like in 99, 2000, there was like two, three decent ice rinks in the Metroplex, and DFW is huge.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I think there's like maybe like 10 Star Centers. So it's changed drastically from what it was without a doubt. And roller, I feel like it's hitting like a second boom. Like when I was a kid, and a lot of, Marty Glodes, like a bunch of people that came up through here can attest to that. Like when we were young, roller was hot. It was booming.
Yeah.
And then it really kind of died off. I feel like kind of like the Stars got here and everyone got into ice. And then we all became adults. We're like, actually, we kind of like roller more.
Yeah, I mean, so you would say that like roller was there first
Yeah,
before it went
yeah.
to ice.
At least from my perspective,
Okay.
from what I was playing, like I was playing, this is even like before Narch, like there was like the Junior Olympics and stuff like that. So I played on a couple teams that went to the Junior Olympics. There was a pretty big travel roller program out here called the Mad Hatters. That Matt Hicks, you probably heard of him, Marty Glodes, a couple of those guys that play like for the Freeze and for PAMA played on kind of that was like the big program then. But yeah, roller was huge. There was I want to say three, four quality inline facilities in DFW. And even now there's actually only two. So Lone Star in Denton is like been here forever. So that was one of them. Looks like there we go. It gave me a notification I had to block off.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lone Star in Denton was actually called Hat Trick when it opened.
Okay.
And then there was a place called Slapshot. There was one in Arlington and Richardson that was a two rink facility, and then there was a few wood floors. So yeah, it was pretty hot.
Okay. Now for the wood floors, right? Because what you see today with wood floors, it's kind of still like just for like roller skating. People just play hockey on it.
Yeah,
Is that kind of how it was for you?
hockey was big there. So when I moved to Arlington, there was the facility called Big Wheel that actually I mentioned Slapshot. Big Wheel later. got bought out and became Slapshot, and they put in Sport Court, and that's
Okay.
actually where I played college. When I played for UNT, we played out of Denton and Arlington Sport Court. So then another facility opened called the Texas, or actually it was called the Arlington Stadium, and it's still there. They don't have hockey at all. They haven't had hockey for like 15 years. But that was a huge hockey facility. They had, I mean, I played youth forever. They had adult leagues. It was really, really quality. I actually ended up working there in high school. And the guy that owned it, his name was Lonnie Hanna. And Lonnie actually, he was a paraplegic. He had an accident where a shelf fell on him and it broke his back like as an adult.
Oh damn.
And so he actually, I want to say it was like 98, maybe like in Nagano, but he played for Team USA Paralympic sled hockey and won a gold medal. So that, I mean, that guy was the owner. So obviously he was pretty motivated and driven about
Yeah.
hockey at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it. It seems like. I mean, let's be honest here. Roller hockey may have taken two dips. Um,
Yeah.
in the last, I don't know, let's just say 30 to 40 years, right? I
Yeah.
think I think when ice got popular, it took a dip, right?
Hmm.
And especially, it's probably different where the ice hockey began for Texas. It's obviously when the Stars came to town.
Yeah.
But then I also feel like roller hockey took a hit in the 20 teens too.
Hmm.
And I just feel like it also, I've talked about it many times, but from when I was playing hockey in the 2000s for travel and stuff like that, it was don't play roller hockey, right?
Hmm.
I
It'll
mean,
mess your game up.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I was gonna say, is that something that like was said to you, or I mean, you played roller hockey, but I mean, how much ice did you play?
So I started playing ice when I was like around 10.
Okay,
And I mean, I guess I started playing organized roller when I was 8. And I started playing ice when I was like 10. But it was kind of 50-50 between the two, but I liked roller more. And then when I got to high school, I made varsity as a freshman for Mansfield. So I played for them and I played both like my freshman year, but then it was like, yeah, ice kind of took over and I didn't play roller. I guess you're like 14, 15 your freshman year. I didn't play roller again until college, and just ice. But ice. You got multiple practices. You got dry land, and you're trying to be a high school kid too. So
and that's what I was
there
gonna
was there
say.
was like a pause. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Was it the rhetoric of don't play roller, it's gonna ruin your game, or was it just? I mean, I know. I mean, it's like I said, it's multiple games.
Yeah.
It's every Saturday, Sunday. It's probably a game during the week. It's multiple practices. I mean, would you say it was a little bit of both, or was just like
I don't think. I mean, so that's back in like 2000. Like, I don't really think ice was deep enough here yet at
sure?
that time, 25 years ago, for people to really have an opinion on how roller and ice would be affected. But I do agree. Like, I've definitely heard that concept as I was older. I have a cousin. He plays with us. He's one of our best players. He's young in his early 20s, and he played like AAA Stars Elite. He just graduated from Arkansas a few years ago. Was one of their best players and captains. He just played for Freeze Gold at Narch. And so I watched like his career,
Yeah,
and I definitely would say like in that era there was probably some like, oh, roller mess up your game. But now you look at the NHL and I mean, these guys, like these young kids, they're playing roller out there.
yeah. It's definitely something that we're coming going away from because I mean I see even when I go back home because I'm from Jersey originally,
Yeah,
and so when I go back home it's kids that play travel in the summer they're playing ice and you could just see the fluent of the roller style into ice. So,
for sure. Yeah.
but you dropped the most interesting thing which was you were actually a Mission and Bilt Rite rep,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I
so
was.
it's
So it's an interesting story. So I mentioned earlier my dad had the like ski and skate store, the hockey store,
mhm,
and like 50% of it was hockey stuff, and that was really the passion. And so over time, when I was, I guess, like early high school, so this is probably like around 99, he transitioned out of that job. He got approached by Mission. I don't know all the details. I was young, but essentially he became the Mission rep. And he kind of moved into that world. He worked, so iTech was also a part of Mission at one time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he worked for Mission, iTech, Bilt Rite, and he did that for a long time. And I mean, if any of my friends are listening to this, there's tons of guys that were taken care of back in the day through that. And so yeah, he did that for a long time. Our garage was like filled with samples. So as a rep, they send you kind of a couple of everything to
Yeah.
obviously, go around to the pro shops and show it and get them to place orders. And luckily, I was sample size, so that was nice. And skates have changed. Like I'm a 9 shoe, and back then a 9 shoe and a 9 skate were the same.
Yeah.
I've got a couple old pairs. I've got a Nike pair and an old Mission pair, and they're 9s, and they fit me. But in the modern day skates now, depending on the brand, I'm a 6.5 or a 7.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we had all the samples in the garage, and he took care of all my high school teammates. And then when I went to college, my dad actually got diagnosed with cancer the summer before I went to college, and I didn't play for UNT the first 2 years just because of that. I went home on the weekends and was kind of going through that. And then I just played house league, which actually is funny looking back. It's at the same rink I play at now. And after it was going into my junior year, I have a younger brother that's 2 years younger than me, and he moved up to school. So we're living together, playing house league, and one of the guys that runs UNT. And by the way, at the time, UNT was absolutely trash. They were terrible. They went 0-20 my sophomore year that I did not play. And he kind of was like, "Man, come play for UNT. Like we need you guys. Like we need some more people." And so we ended up doing it, and it went pretty well. We went from 0-20 to 12-8, or I guess our first year, my junior year. And then I was like, "Man, we need more help." And I knew Marty Glodes. I've known Marty since I was a kid. He's kind of like he's like the Michael Jordan of Texas roller hockey. So I mean, that guy, he's such a stud, and he's an even better guy than he is a player. And I knew Marty, and he was at the rink a lot. And I was like, "Dude, will you coach this team?" Like, I'm sure we probably paid him like $200 a season or something, and he did it, and he was amazing. And that's the hardest I've ever worked playing hockey, was playing for him in practice. And that team went from 0-20 to 20-0 under Marty's leadership.
Nice.
And then UNT, now when I play there, I sit on the bench and I look across, and there's like 8 banners from UNT from my senior year. But then after that, like those guys just took off. A lot of players, Nathan Ford, JP Kellogg, Tim and Brad Dugan, just some incredible players. And that was, within Texas, within the South, no Lindenwood, but that was a hot club. And from there, when I was in college, asked about the Mission thing. When I was in college, once my dad got kind of ill, he was getting, weaker and weaker, but he would have these shows where like he would rent out like a room, like a boardroom or whatever in a hotel, and have 3-4 pro shops come in. This was before like the big dogs, like Pure Hockey and all that. And they'd come in and he'd show all the gear and get the orders placed. Well, he got, weaker, so I had to help out. So I started doing those with him, where like I'd set up, the board and put the skates on, and it's a couple hour production before
Sure.
like even the meeting starts. So I was doing that, like just helping him out. And it was fun. And then when he passed away, and that was a lot going on at that time in 07. Like I don't remember the specifics, but essentially Mission like came to me and were like, "Hey, we know you've been helping your dad. Like, do you want to just take this over and do it?" And I was graduating college. I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do for a living. I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." I worked in sales in college, and so yeah, I did that for a couple of years straight out of school.
Nice. I mean, it's obviously unfortunate about your father,
Yeah.
but you were kind of blessed with a unique opportunity that not many people
Hmm.
are able to, or even
Especially at 22 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, I remember I had the white Bilt Rite gloves,
I had them too. Those were nasty.
and then my older brother cut the fingertips out because that was the cool thing at the time. I was so
Someone
pissed.
messaged me recently on Instagram and told me that they had those, and I'm like, "How much?"
Yeah.
Like that's definitely like a top 3 piece of equipment for me growing up.
Like the old school gear that I look at, and I'm like, okay, Bilt Rite white gloves,
Hmm.
Mission 4-finger red, white, and blue
I
gloves.
remember that when like the pinky and the
Yeah.
fingers were together. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember
those
that.
are my like.
And the Nike stuff too, the Fedorovs, and then the red 2-piece Nike stick. That was up there for me.
So it's awesome because it's like, for me, it's like I go back and I'm like, yeah, I remember having that gear, and you're like, I sold that gear.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, definitely.
So like when you took over this job for Bilt Rite and Mission,
Yeah.
is it like just kind of like you have your own shop now and you kind of do kind of what you're following the footsteps of your father and do the things that he was
Yeah.
doing? Or did you
So,
like,
I mean,
did you end up like expanding on it?
Well, essentially, like most of the accounts are already set up because, like, obviously, I mean, it's not like a product. I can't go sell hockey gear to a grocery store. Like, there's got to be a rink, and like pretty much every rink. And there's no star centers at this time. There's none of that really going on. So you've kind of got the established accounts that I'd already known from like helping host those meetings and stuff. There was a couple of pretty good pro shops that I can think of off the top of my head. So it's just kind of like account management and partnering with them. And one thing that was cool at that time, like just some names that you would definitely know. This was in like Greg Thompson was like in the catalog, and like Stephen Campbell that runs Unify. Like
Yeah.
he was one of their, and those two guys are about my age, and they were like two of the top pro guys and in the catalog. So I, met them and hung out with them at meetings a few times, and it was kind of cool. Now looking back, like when I started, getting this Emu team going and getting in some tournaments, Stephen made gloves for us, and then I can, from Unify, and I connected with Greg, just kind of like, hey, guide me in the right way on these tournaments. Like I mean, I knew the names, but I didn't really know where to go or anything, and Marty helped a lot too, just when we kind of got things off the ground like 2-3 years ago.
Okay. Now, like through your connections and through your networking, I mean, who do you have someone that you met that you're like a pro or anyone that you're like, damn, that's awesome.
I mean, well, everybody down here is always going to look up to Marty, but I've gotten to know the Freeze guys too. We all play at the same rink for the most part. My cousin Michael that I mentioned, he's on the Freeze like house league team, so he plays on Vince's team with the Greenberg. So I mean, those guys just have like the utmost respect of the community down here for like everything that they've done, and really, I mean, gotten Roller on the map. And they're not. I mean, Freeze has like an Instagram and stuff, but like in general, that group is not like a big like social media.
Yeah.
Look at me, look what we're doing. They just go out there and get the results, and they have badass uniforms, which doesn't hurt. But yeah, I mean, those guys certainly have the utmost respect here in DFW.
Yeah. I mean, from what I know from seeing whether it's leagues and stuff like that, I mean, Texas is showing out right now. I mean,
Yeah.
Texas is booming.
Hmm.
I mean, is there? And I always forget to ask this, but is there any events in Texas, like tournaments, whatever, that bring all the communities together?
Yeah. I mean, quite a bit. And like to be honest, our team, the Emu, that was really inspired by the Chupacabras.
Okay.
So I didn't play roller for a little while, and then I had an old high school friend that I saw at an alumni ice game, like, hey, come play roller in Denton. So I kind of started playing casually. I was on a team, and then like two guys on the team and myself, they came to me, were like, hey, let's branch off and make our own team. I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, let's do like Mighty Ducks jerseys. Like their jerseys are sick. So that was my idea. And then Carson Turner, he's our goalie. He was like, well, let's be the Mighty Emu. I was like, whatever. I picked the jerseys, you pick the name. So we rolled with that, and we were just like a house league casual Sunday team. And then at, later on, my cousin, he graduated college, so we got him. And then Carson's brother graduated college at the same time, so we kind of added like two upper level players at the same time. They're like, yeah, let's do a tournament. And so Echo, comes in town a bit with Bob with Echo. So we did an Echo tournament, and we got demolished. We did terrible. Just didn't really know how to play roller. I mean, I had some concept of it from playing in college and
Sure.
whatnot, but it'd been a long ass time. And I see this team like I'm like, what the hell is a chupacabra? I honestly don't really know still. But they're on like every division. They've got like three teams. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And like they look legit. Like they got good uniforms. They got a sponsor. Like they got LaBeta. And I didn't like actually meet any of them at that time. We just like I saw them in the tournament. I was like, that's cool. And I looked them up on social, and I kind of saw what they're doing. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm kind of good at social media. Like maybe I can replicate this.
Sure.
So one or two of our guys also played like in a lower division, like house league, and their team had a different name. And I was like, hey, what do you think about like turning that team into an Emu team as well, and having representation in like two divisions, and then offering those players like, hey, when we go to tournaments, we can do two divisions and kind of take like the first 16 dogs who bark.
Sure.
And so we did that. But like really the Choops, like Caleb and Carl, like and I've told them this, if I didn't see what they were doing, like I don't think it would have given me the vision. I probably would have just been like, oh, we played in a tournament, that was cool. But I was like, man, they live far. Like we're not competing for
Yeah.
players. Like I can do something that serves, frankly, the lower to upper middle divisions, and really give 30 to 50 people an opportunity to get involved over the course of a year in tournament hockey. We're not, I know some teams are jumping in pro and platinum. Like, that's great. I hope that some of my guys, like my cousin and Arturo's played with us and Ryan Mara, they get those opportunities. But we're kind of serving that like copper, bronze, silver,
Yeah.
and we're involved in all the tournaments for the most part, just like Chupa. I think we're a little bit more local just because a lot of our guys are a little bit older. So getting on the road, it's like a 1 or 2 times a year, out of state and Arch Wish Cup type of deal. Would love to do more of that. But yeah, that's kind of where it started, was like seeing what Chupa was doing. And since then, like I've made friends with the Harders for sure and a lot of those guys. And it's a great group. And yeah, that's kind of like the vision of what we're after.
Yeah, I see kind of the Texas scene similar to the South Florida scene, except I feel like those South Florida guys are just louder than anyone else, but they're good people.
Fair. The like buttery
Yeah,
team. Yeah. They have some sick uniforms.
Oh yeah. But so you mentioned college a little bit, right? And so
Yeah.
I mean, when you were playing college, I mean, what were the teams that you were playing? Because you said there was no
Yeah. Yeah.
like that. So like, what were the teams
Well,
in the roller scene?
so we played in it was, I can't remember the name of it. It was an NCRHA, but it was like SWHL,
Okay.
Southern like Collegiate Hockey League, whatever. So it was us, UNT, UT, A&M, TCU, I think, Southwest, Texas State, which is like kind of by Austin. So it's like 5 or 6 teams, and it was a mixed bag. I mean, some of them were terrible, and there was a few that were pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think it was kind of like, it was like, and actually UTA was very good right before us. Like, they were dominant for several years. They had a guy, Mike Monia. He's one of the well-known DFW. He plays for Midlife Crisis, so he's like a year or two older than me. So we had to wait for those guys to graduate before we took over. But yeah, UTA, UNT were really kind of the big ones, and then
Okay.
UT and A&M were in there too.
Okay. I mean, there's there's obviously a lot more Texas representation in roller
Yeah,
hockey back when you played. I mean, I think there's maybe a couple these days. I mean, Sam
I
Houston.
know. Yeah,
And after Sam Houston, I don't even know if there is another one. Drawing a blank on
yeah.
it.
Youth hockey's decreased, because I remember like when I played for UNT and I lived in Denton. I also was a ref at Lone Star. I think it was Hat Trick then. And there was like a booming like high school division. And some of these guys that now I play like men's league against, I was like refing their games. And there was youth in high school that was like coming up
Yeah.
that fed college roller eventually. And now that, I mean, honestly, like the youth scene is like the most scarce.
Yeah. I feel like that's for especially roller hockey. That's just possibly across the board for most areas.
Hmm.
Your little hotbeds of like Cali and New York and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Maybe there's a few outliers than other places, but I just feel like a lot more kids get into ice hockey than they
that's
do the
true.
roller. So
100%.
and then it's not until like you're like you pull the ice kid out of ice and you're like, come skate with me real quick.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
And you're like, whoa, hold on. You don't have to dump the puck.
But yeah, I mean, because I mean, that's the one thing about college rollers that the landscape is ever changing.
Hmm.
I mean, you have club teams.
Other than Lindenwood.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, when a school actually funds a team, it's
Yeah. Yeah, we
but
played them at Nationals in St. Louis when they had Thompson, and that was definitely a learning experience.
yeah, oh, usually is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you go from having a couple teams like you have. Lately, college roller has been expanding, and it's been nice to see. Ton of teams, love it. But yeah, I mean, you have like a couple for maybe 4 years where you have a team, and I'll take Coastal Carolina, right?
Hmm.
There's zero college roller teams in North Carolina. Um, and so Coastal Carolina is the Mops guys from Raleigh. Once they had their 4 years and they graduated, no one else. So it's like
Yeah.
it comes in teams from different schools comes in phases, and
Yeah,
I wish that schools would get more part of it instead of it being
for
like
sure.
start your own team.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with UNT, like we had like the benefit that a bunch of us had younger siblings. So I can think of like Nathan Ford, myself, and Tim Dugan. Like we all had younger brothers
Mm-hmm.
that came up after us. So there was kind of like a culture for a while of UNT being pretty dominant.
Yeah, which is always a good feeling. I mean, it's good for, especially when you keep your community very involved, and you're like,
Hmm.
hey man, you're good. You're good at roller hockey.
Yeah,
Go play for UNT.
I know. And at that time, like the ice hockey team wasn't good,
Yeah,
so it was kind of like, oh, we could put them out here and we'd probably beat them. Like, so everyone that could play, like, frankly, wanted to play roller at that time. Now, I mean, to your point, it's definitely more booming for ice
yeah,
at that level.
yeah. Of course, too. There's like obviously more ice rinks than rollers, so it's easier to throw a
Yes.
club ice team in and go play AU or club
Mm-hmm.
whatever, So
Right.
it's
Right.
unfortunate, but hopefully we get a landscape shift soon. Uh, but what did I want to say? I mean, you've mentioned Wish Cup, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how you was last year your first year of you guys going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean,
It was a blast.
yeah. I was gonna say, how was your experience?
It was sick. I mean, I've gotten to know Colby. Like, I'd consider him a friend, just from kind of talking on social media and registration and like kind of helping promote each other to an extent. So just from like an organizational standpoint, it was really good. We also like we've ran 4 tournaments ourselves here in DFW, 2 Ironmans and 2 full team tournaments that we used to fund going to Narch and Wish Cup.
Okay.
So my point in saying that is I feel like I have a decent perspective of like how hard it is to run a tournament, and they're doing it at a way larger scale than a 20 team Saturday Sunday tournament that we're putting together. So definitely a respect there. But I thought Wish Cup was awesome. The facility is really cool. I know they're going indoors next year, which I think is great. Just because then the weather's not an element. So like
Yeah.
we had a club team, an A team, and a 30+ team. And within the divisions, I think probably our 30+ team was like the most competitive. We had a really good game against Tidy Whiteys. They got us by a couple, but it was a great game. I blocked a shot from Eric Torres that rebound right back to him for an empty net. That was fun. He's a buddy of mine. But yeah, from a tournament perspective, it was great. But the elements are a bit of a factor. I saw a couple games where like the floor got wet and it can be tough.
Yeah.
Teams losing games they shouldn't. So I think it's awesome that they're going to an indoor facility without a doubt. But everything he does in terms of like the All-Star game, the influencer stuff, like having vendors out there, I think it's a phenomenal tournament.
Yeah. I can't disagree with you. I mean, I love going. Um, it is definitely it's a show for the kids, which is nice because
Yeah.
they're first on the list, and
Hmm.
so they get to hang out and watch the pro games, and they get to interact with all the influencers that they watch on YouTube, and
Right.
I think it's fantastic. It
Yeah,
keeps
we played against Nasher and Hinsey,
yeah.
which to be honest, and I mean this with all respect, I had no clue their names at that time because I was just kind of newer to the like roller influencer world.
Yeah.
Because before I kind of started like moving on Instagram, like I didn't create my personal Instagram until this summer.
Okay.
So I was just like kind of unaware, and a bunch of my guys were like saying their names, like, oh, that's cool. So yeah, we played against them, which was fun.
Yeah, and I think Wish Cup does it right. Um, you start from the bottom and you build up and you just go to the adults, and so, and I think it carries over the youth to like want to keep coming back.
Yeah,
If there's one tournament that the youth probably look forward to, it's Wish Cup,
that's it for sure.
and it's because they get to go see Nasher or
Uh-huh.
Hinsey or, I mean, who isn't
There's
there?
that cat like Kazi, something with the
Yeah,
blonde
yeah.
hair from Colorado. Yeah, he was on their team
I mean, he
too.
pulls in NHLers to come play too.
Right. Yeah. Forsberg.
Yeah.
I was at so Tidal Wave is from where I live. It's like 10 minutes from my work. And Chris Treff, the owner of Tidal Wave, he plays here. He plays House of Gear. He's very good. But I actually went to his storefront last week and he had Philippe Forsberg's Wish Cup jersey hanging up in there and this with Tidal Wave hat. But yeah, I grabbed a couple things there and it was cool seeing Forsberg's jersey in there.
Yeah, yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, that's right. So you just mentioned, you on Instagram, you just started your account.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the salesman in you hasn't left.
That's what I do for a living. I work for BMW.
Okay. Now, I mean, you're creating all these videos and they're great because you're talking about. I mean, the last one I just skimmed over just before because I was like, let me watch a few of these because I want to see what they're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
about. I mean, let's talk Bauer 4500 because
Oh, baby. I've got like 7.
yeah, you know,
I love that helmet.
oh yeah. Now I can say, I mean, we're talking gear right now. Um, I love that helmet. I still have a couple, but
I want the Cooper one.
yeah,
One of my friends, Jimmy Anderson, he plays the tournament scene too. He's got a Cooper one that he lucked into, and I cannot find one to fit this size large melon of mine. But eventually, I'll stumble into one. I got the Nike and I got the Nike Bauer. So once I get that one, the collection will be complete.
nice. Yeah, the because obviously I can't buy them anymore, and so I needed a color to match my some new jerseys.
Yeah.
And so I've actually comparable to the Bauer 4500 is the newer CCMs.
Uh-huh.
They're comfy.
Yeah.
The older version I can't remember what it is, but it's the newer versions. They're a little pricier, but if you can catch the
Mm-hmm.
older version, I think it's like 160, 175
Yeah.
for a bucket, but they don't make them anymore. So
I feel like helmets and elbow pads are like the only thing that I kind of want like the cheapest, easiest thing. I'm like, give me the high end skate and the crappiest elbow pads, and I'll cut off the part that goes on my tricep. I just want like a little cup.
yeah, I don't know. I think the hardest thing is, especially today, is shin guards.
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like they've gotten bulkier.
yes, that's true. That's true.
I mean,
Yeah, I was there's a you mentioned the videos. I was wearing the same shin guards since I was 14 until about 6 months ago. And mind you, I'm 40, so that's a very long time. Um, and I finally one of my buddies, Miles Reed, who plays with us, he works at Monkey Sports, and he's like, dude, get these Mileck ones. Like they're about as simple as it gets. Like they're very similar to what you have, but mine were like kind of seeing their last days. Like you could pull the knee back and you could see like the stitching, like the kneecap was coming off. So I grabbed these Mileck ones, and they've been pretty good so far. I've been pretty happy.
okay. Is it like
Yep.
outdoor street hockey Milex shin guards?
They're white. I mean, they're like a
Okay.
decent shin guard. They're not bad, but yeah, I like them. But you're right. Shin guards have gotten away. Like I don't need them all wrapped around my calf 3 times. Like I'm probably not trying to block a shot with the back of my leg.
Yeah. Now, talking gear, right? I mean, let's go back to kind of the being a rep. I mean, what do you as a rep? Are you selling like gloves, helmets, sticks, or is there more to it?
Everything. So I mean, at that time, Mission was making sticks. They were making like that blue M2, if you remember that. It was a one piece. That was a nice stick. Brett Hull used that stick. So yeah, and they had the helmet too. I can't remember the name of the helmet. There was a guy at Wish Cup rocking it, and it looked sick. But yeah, they had the helmet, the sticks, the gloves. I mean, the whole nine. And there was also another brand. I don't know. Do you remember Hespler?
Yes.
Okay, so Hespler, not as big of a name, not really a roller brand, but he had that line too. And I guess because Mission was like roller and that was ice, it wasn't really conflicting at the time. And Pat Verbeek, I think he's the GM of the Ducks now. He was a Dallas Star and he was a Hespler guy. And I remember one time him calling my house and I answered the phone. This is like before cell phones.
Yeah, yeah.
And Pat Verbeek like called for my dad because he was getting him these gloves. And my dad had these like black and green custom Pat Verbeek Hespler gloves to take to him at practice at Valley Ranch. So yeah, I definitely have seen some cool things growing up.
Okay. I mean, you talked about talking to Pat Verbeek on the phone. Obviously, it probably wasn't a long conversation. You were younger,
No,
but
yeah, right,
as you took over, I mean, was there other people like in like NHL
yeah,
or that you came in
yes.
contact with?
So I guess this is probably like oh 03 ish. The NHL All Star game was in Dallas, and so I got to go to the NHL All Star game
Nice.
more than just the game. I got to go to like the players and sponsors party.
Okay.
So Marion Hossa was a big Mission guy at the time. So I had a beer with Marion Hossa, which was cool. And I call this my nerd hobby. I like WWE. I've watched wrestling since I was a kid.
Okay.
And there was a big name wrestler there. His name is Edge. His real name is Adam Copeland,
Hmm.
and he's from Canada. And he was there, so I had a beer with Marion Hossa and Edge. And I was I was like late college. I definitely remember that, and that game was pretty fun. It was I think that was pretty close to like Crosby and Ovechkin's rookie year, and they were in the game.
Now, when you were having a beer with Hosa, was there any conversation?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they were just super cool and just excited about the weekend, excited to play, and just entertaining, so to speak. But yeah, Hossa was around a lot that weekend. He was definitely the one that stands out to me
Okay.
because I think he was the only one in the game that was like a Mission guy. Because Mission, like, they tried to get into ice and they did a little, but I would never say they had like a huge amount of success in the ice realm.
Yeah.
There's always somewhat of a taboo of like that's a roller company. And so Hossa was definitely the one that I remember being around.
I mean, do you have a go-to, like, when when you're kind of shooting the shit? Do you have like a go-to like memory from whether it's selling gear or just hockey in general that you kind of like? This is like, my favorite memory.
Yeah, I mean, not to like lighten them or dampen the mood, but college hockey. So like when I played in high school, I played 4 years varsity. My freshman and sophomore year, I knew that we were going to be good my senior year.
Hmm.
It is. You're like, okay, the young guys are good. Once they're older, we're going to be good. And we were very good. And then we lost in the first round of the playoffs. And frankly, it like broke my heart. And so I didn't play, like I said, my first 2 years. Then I played. And I kind of like didn't get over that until we won. And I know it's just like SCHL, like college roller, but winning meant a lot to me. And as I mentioned about my dad, so it was a Sunday. We had like the championship. It's like the playoffs were best two out of three. And so we played UT. It was a Sunday. We played them in Arlington and we won. And my brother and I took the trophy home and like gave it to my dad. He was on home hospice at the time and he was wearing like a UNT hockey t-shirt
Okay.
and he passed away 3 days later.
Damn.
So we were able to do that. Yeah. Right before he passed. And we actually had him buried in a UNT hockey shirt with a suit over it, and I rolled up my tape from that game and it put it in his casket. So
That's awesome.
that'll always, yeah, man, that it's hard to talk about, but that'll always
Yeah.
be an amazing memory.
That's awesome. I'm glad you shared it.
Yeah, thank you.
What did I say? You Now you got me all emotional here.
Yeah, I get that way too, man. It'll be this March will be 19 years, so it's
Damn.
you'd think in 19 years you'd kind of be like used to it, but
Yeah.
it's
Hey,
always there.
hey, I mean, he's a big part of your life, man.
Yeah. It's part of what I love about playing. I play house league in Denton and Arlington, and I was playing house league like about 2 months ago. And there's a guy, he's probably like in his 30s, named Paul Zuniga that plays down here, and his dad plays too. So his dad's like significantly older. And I know his dad on a casual basis, say hi, say bye, whatever.
Yeah.
His dad comes up to me, he's playing after my game, and I'm leaving the rink, and he comes up to me, he's like, "Hey, I think I knew your dad." And I'm like, "Really?" Because my dad played.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, his name was Tom." I was like, "Yeah, he was." And he's like, "I played with him at Slapshot in Arlington, and I have some pictures of him."
Oh, dang.
So I was like, "Thank you." Like, send, because, like social media, a lot of people want to like say bad things about social media or whatever else. But man, what I would give to have a catalog of my dad's life and memories with me that I could look back on, that doesn't exist.
Yeah, yeah.
And so Paul Senior, he sent those pictures to me and I actually made a reel of them. It's on my Instagram. But the baggy roller pants and
Hmm.
all the crazy style, and those pictures, and I looked in because like when you have like printed pictures, they'll say like the date on the bottom,
Yeah.
and it said like it was like actually St. Patrick's Day. It was March 17th, um, and he passed like within that year, and he was still playing. So I remember watching him play like as he was going through chemo.
Damn.
Yeah, he'd be out there playing right now. We'd do an Iron Man, me, him, and my cousin and my brother, and we'd have to figure out what division to be in, but he'd be playing.
So, what what's in the near future? You know, further future for, let's just say, like, I don't know, like you, the Mighty Emus.
Yeah.
What's to come?
So we're playing in a tournament this weekend. Super excited about it here in Arlington. It's going to have a pretty good turnout. They've got a lot of teams. So we'll be in 2 divisions in that. And then this summer, we're kind of figuring out like Wish Cup and Arch, like maybe like to get 2 of them in. I mentioned earlier that the team was kind of started by myself and Carson Turner. So Carson owns the jersey company that makes our uniforms. He just like essentially started that to like kind of help our team. Then he helped some people out. So we kind of have a system. Like his brother is like a genius, an artistic genius. His brother Cole, who's one of our best players, actually designs custom cleats for NFL players. So
Oh,
that's what he does for a living. Like he has a contract with Nike.
oh dang.
So that's the guy that designs our jersey. So it's like Carson has the company, Cole has the engineering, whatever. He knows how to do the computer stuff that I suck at. And I get the vision. I'm like, hey, remember that Ducks jersey when the duck was jumping out of the water? Let's make that with an emu. And Cole makes it and Carson orders it. So those two are going to be in Italy during Wish Cup. So trying to figure that out, like, because there are 2 goalies.
Oh dang.
So I'm trying to, yeah. So Carson's our higher level goalie, and then Cole is too good to play at the lower level. So he just decided about 9 months ago to take up goalie as well. So he's now like our lower level goalie, and believe it or not, he's one of the best ones already. He's a hell of an athlete. So figuring out like without those two, like, do I have enough support? Does it make sense to do it? And what divisions? I really enjoyed the 30+ division. We had a really solid team at that at Wish Cup. So I'm a 11-year senior for that one. So I can't recall if they do 40+ or not, but we'll see.
I think he was polling to see if he could fill it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but he
Those
also,
those are such a mixed bag because you can have pro players in there.
yes. That's why when you go to 30 plus in these other tournaments or 35 plus, it is probably one of the hardest divisions to win.
I know. Yeah, when we went to Narch the first time, we played silver, and I did a 40+ team. And in my naive mind, I'm like, oh, this is 40+. Like, this will probably be easier. I'll be one of the better players. Hell no. Like we got waxed. And I had a couple good guys, and then frankly, some people I didn't even know. Like just kind of like put some stuff out there on social media and just whoever want to do it, let's do it. And then we played Pama and Marty's on that team and Good Life. And yeah, those divisions are very impressive. And I know there's going to be a very competitive 40+ division here at Winter Nationals in Narch too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's, I played 30 plus at tours one year and it was just littered with pro players. So,
Yeah. Yeah, we played Shivo was in the 30+ when we played out there at Wish Cup. That was fun. He's a great guy to play against. So it's fun to see him on the rink. Like he's super talkative and like gets the boys going, and he's a great leader. Like everyone sees the skills and the trick shots, but I can tell the dude's a hell of a leader.
oh yeah, for sure. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to give you the floor. Is there anyone or anything else that, like, anyone you want to, like, shout out? Anything you want to, talk about or,
Sure.
mention or anything like that? The floor is yours.
Thanks, man. No, just like, I think, social media, like as a tool in terms of like building your team and networking, right? So one thing that I take pride in for our club is we have done a pretty good job of like bringing people into the roller world that weren't in it. So we, Carson and I specifically, like we pay a lot of attention to Facebook groups, to places where like players are, oh, I just moved to town. Like we got a guy that just moved from Cali that was playing at Irvine. And I mean, I could probably rattle off 10 people that we've gained through social media that I didn't know at all, that weren't playing, that like just kind of put out there, like even people that are like, hey, I just moved to the area, like looking at ice and being like, messaging them like, hey, have you thought about playing roller? And we host practices. So we usually do practice like 2 times a month or so, early morning on a Saturday.
Okay.
And we'll invite those guys out. And it's not like an assessment. It's just like, hey, jump in practice.
Yeah.
And then we kind of, behind the scenes are like, okay, I think this guy fits here and this guy fits here. And so we've done a really good job with that. That's really helped us like be able to support all the divisions. And Frank, like in Denton, we're the only team that's across not every division. We don't have a gold team, but right now we're in silver, bronze, and copper.
Mm-hmm.
And then, about 4 of our guys play gold on other teams. But that's one way we're able to do that and like always have bench strength. Cause to me, like when I put together a tournament, I'm going like, I always want to be in 3 divisions. Sometimes it's only 2. It just depends. But my thought is always like, okay, I need 24 people.
Yeah.
And then I just, who's in? And we get 24. and I go, okay, this is the best 8. They're in the top division. This is the middle 8. This is the bottom 8, and just kind of do it like that. And then also just like, having your ears open and being approachable at tournaments. There's a guy that, and I consider him one of my very good friends, Ryan Mara. He's a great player, and we played against him at a tournament, and like I think it was like maybe the second tournament we played against him again. I never knew him, never talked to him, and he was getting on the rink, and we were getting off after a playoff game. And I had like, I'm like team dad, like I've got the waters and the Gatorades and all the stuff. So we had like extra Gatorade on the bench and we were done. And I just skated by him. I was like, dude, this guy's good as hell. Like maybe I should make friends with him. So I just skated by him. I was like, hey, bro, we got like a handful of Gatorades on the bench. Like we don't need them. You can have them. That's it. And then next thing you know, we're chatting on social media, and he's played with us and other teams too, but he's played with us for probably almost 2 years now.
Okay.
I know you had Arturo on last week. Like Arturo's a friend of mine. We've hung out together, we went to church together, like tons of stuff. And we saw Arturo at a tournament, and we actually didn't play against him, but I met him like just in the stands, and he was kind of on a team that was, you could tell like it wasn't really like a travel team, just like a group of guys kind of getting together.
Sure.
And I was like, hey, if you ever want to, do some things outside of here, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure his first NARC trip was with us. We went like 2 years ago, and then he's gotten so many opportunities. He's played for Chupa, he's played for a couple pro teams. Now he's assistant captain of the Scorpions. So, it's just kind of fun to like to keep your eyes open and network, and not keep it like so in house of just like the group you have. And then when the group you have can't make it, you're screwed.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like I have a list in the notes of my phone, and it's like Emu talent. And I've got like 40 or 50 people that have played for us.
Yeah.
And then when a tournament comes, I'm like, okay, like let's just start asking. And it's a lot of work. Like I probably put almost as much into this club as my job.
Yeah.
And it pays me nothing. It actually costs me money. But it's a pleasure. Like it's so fun to provide players with an opportunity, to get out there, to be involved, and have something to be proud of. And that's kind of why like we do the social media stuff too. Like people like that. People see it and like, oh, this team's kind of cool. Like, they got bad. I can't tell you how many players we've got that are like, I want to play with y'all because you have sick jerseys.
Yeah.
Like, I like our jerseys. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I do like jerseys because I like the old Ducks color scheme.
Me too.
So it's definitely a nice setup. For
So
sure.
my next one that I want to do. So often we'll do something for an Iron Man where it's just like me, Carson Cole, and like one other person, and then we're like, hey, let's try this jersey because we can make 4 jerseys for cheap, whatever. And so that's where, if you've seen Mighty Ducks 2, we did like when their Team USA, and it says like USA, we did that exact same jersey but with Emu, and instead of like Hendrix hockey on the sleeve, I think it says Mighty Emu. But the one I want to do next is the Hawks. So Mighty Ducks 1, I want to go black, blue, and white with Emu with the bird head instead of the hawk head, black helmets. So that one I've been holding off for the right opportunity.
Nice, nice.
Yep.
So, anyone you want to shout out before we, say our farewells?
Yeah, man. Just everybody, Texas hockey is doing a great job. Obviously, Vince, the Greenbergs, they're leading the way. I have a great relationship with Travis McKinney down in Houston. He's been on, a handful of teams. He's one of the best skaters I've ever seen. Obviously the Chupas, Caleb, Carl, what they're doing, very similar to us. I think that they do a little more, like I said, on the out of state stuff. We'll see those guys this weekend. Midlife Crisis has been really representing in the 40 plus division. They're working on a 30 plus team with like Eric Torres and Mara. So man, there's a lot going on. And I can't help but think that kind of this, it kind of started with like Vince coming to town, doing Farm Tough, turning into Freeze, Caleb and Carl doing Chupa, and then it kind of blew up. Like, social media, it sounds cheesy, but a lot of it is like the epicenter of what's pushing things and pushing the envelope. People seeing it and being like, oh, I can do that. I want to do my own thing. And even like from like a house league perspective, like there's a team called the Llamas that play, it's like a copper bronze type of team, and they got a couple teams. They come out to local tournaments, and they're talking about maybe going to Wish Cup,
That's
the
cool.
Stealth as well. So yeah, it's there's an audience for everyone. Obviously like the Scorpions, that was a super fun hot topic, and those the two goalies, they actually played for us at Wish Cup. So Josh Messick was our goalie, and then one game he was dehydrated, so Daniel played for us. So it's a close family. Super excited for the tournament this weekend. But yeah, man, thanks for the time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate your time. Now, if you're watching, you're listening, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. And remember, if you're forechecking roller hockey, don't let up because there's no offsides. I'm Dan Dean. Tim, I appreciate you. Thanks for joining
Yeah,
me.
man. Thank you.